So they asked me if
You want me to move this? You want to move it?
Yes, put it down and that
it's more,
Okay.
here than all of these.
We're good.
We wouldn't want to offend them.
All right, we'll call a meeting to order for 4. Start off with a roll call.
Certainly, Delaware County, Mr. Gazzola.
Present.
Ryan Hanel.
Present.
Patrice Delameter.
Here.
Margaret Wilson.
Here.
David Simmons, alternate.
Present.
Fulton County, Margaret Houghton.
Here.
Country Suite.
Here.
Jack Farquhar.
Here.
Michael Tracy.
Here.
Mark Souza, alternate, is excused. Hamilton County, Joyce Malidi is excused. Phil Malidi is present. Kenneth Kirk.
Here.
Avis Warner is excused. Gary Wicks is excused. Montgomery County, Thomas Pasquarelli.
Here.
Michael Swartz.
Here.
Patricia Sanders.
Here.
Anthony Agresta.
Here.
Otsego County, Sidney Chase.
Here.
Elizabeth McGowan.
Here.
Nick Brent, alternate. Timothy Forster is excused. Richard Kirschman is excused. Schoharie County, Edward Brand is excused. Edward Hillebrand is excused. Dr. Loves.
Here.
Benjamin Louch.
Here.
Colleen Flynn, alternate, is excused. Mark Zeke, advisory, is excused. Louis Jones, advisory, is excused. Dr. Markowitz.
Here.
And Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. At this point, I'm going to recuse myself as chair of this meeting in lieu of me possibly speaking later on and turn things over to the vice chair. Thank you.
All right, everyone received the minutes of our April meeting. Is there a motion to approve as sent out to everyone? Or are there changes? Pat? Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. And abstain, anyone? Motion is carried.
Yes.
Okay, introduction of our guests.
We have some nice guests this morning. We have Victor Jones and Josh Johnson from Otsego County. Welcome. Dan Clayton from the Department of Health EMS Bureau. Welcome, Dan. Jill Dunham, Joe Farrell and Mary Ramo from EMS. Bill Beavers from AMR. Steve Gomula from REMO. Howard Hughes from SUNY Cobleskill. Jim McCready, who is is a fire officer from Johnstown Fire Department, and Bruce Hebrer, who is the chief from the Johnstown Fire Department. Welcome, Bruce. Allison Martin, who is the new nurse manager from Nathan Latour Hospital Emergency Department, and Tim Hannigan from the Hannigan Law Firm. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. And I'm sorry, Steve Santamaria is here, and I did not see you come in, Steve.
He just snuck in.
That's why. Steve Santamaria is the Director of the Office of Emergency Management in Fulton County. Did I leave anybody out? If I did, it was inadvertent. All right, thank you. Welcome, one and all.
All right, moving on to correspondence.
Yeah. Everybody have a copy of it? Copies are available here. Any questions?
Questions for anyone with regard to correspondence? Nothing? Okay. Yep. Chairman's report. Nothing to report. Okay, so let's go to the Secretary's report.
Secretary's report. On Wednesday, May the 1st, we participated in the monthly Program Agency Directors Conference Call with the Department of Health, and here are some salient points from it. Appreciation was noted to all those completing the stroke survey. We were participants. Steve Zero of DOH asked for comments on the REMSCO budget WebEx meetings. Ours took place on May 3rd, and I'll have a comment on that shortly. A consensus was they were positive with some procedural questions being asked. Dan Clayton of the Department of Health spoke about the EMS memorial on May 21st. All deceased this year on 9/11 related deaths. The number of new BLSFR agencies is slightly higher than over the last several years. Applications for proposed new BLSFR agencies should be routed to the REMSCO first. DOH has a credentialing survey out for program agency completion. We have not received ours yet. Still haven't, as a matter of fact. Peter Brody of the Department of Health spoke about EPCR validating rules. It was noted that CMAC meets on May 7th and SEMSCO on May the 8th. excuse me, there was discussion on the EMS on Tour initiative. The DOH will distribute promotional materials as soon as as soon as they receive approval from other authorities in the Department of Health. We received that information yesterday and passed it on to all the agencies for which we have accurate email addresses and all of our AAREMS and REMAC members. There was discussion on who to call in the Bureau to obtain specific answers to individual issues. A template on this is in development. On May the 7th, we received word of an AED use on May 4th by Delaware County Emergency Services. The patient was a 64-year-old female who did regain a pulse but remained unconscious. On May the 9th, we received word of an AED use on May the 8th by the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. The patient was a 70-year-old male who did regain a pulse but also remained unconscious. Springfield Fire Department ALS first responders are requesting approval of a NEMSIS upgrade to version 3.4 and have submitted a 5136 to that effect. So I would like to make a motion that the application of the Springfield Fire Department first responders to upgrade their EPCR software to NEMSIS 3.4 is approved by this council.
Motion.
Second.
I'm sorry.
Second, okay. Okay. You've heard the motion made and seconded. Is there any further comment or discussion about that? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Are there any abstentions? Motion is carried.
The Downsville Fire Department volunteer first responders, the Volunteers of Downsville Fire Department, I believe is the official title, has sent us a 5136, also requesting an upgrade, our approval of an upgrade to NEMSIS 3.4. I'd like to make a motion to the effect that we approve that.
Okay, another second,
Right.
okay. Motion made and seconded. Again, any further discussion, comments about that? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Are there any abstentions? None. Motion is carried.
Dr. Markowitz has kindly provided us with application from two individuals who are interested in becoming pre-hospital pediatric emergency care coordinators in our region. They are working in Sydney EMS in this capacity and would like, they are volunteering their time and effort to serve the agencies of AAREMS in that capacity as well. And Julie White, who is an EMT basic, and Valerie Petrie, who is a paramedic. And I would like to make a motion that we accept their kind offer to serve in this capacity in our region.
Motion made. Is there a second? Doctor? Okay. Okay. Any further discussion or comments about that? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Are there any abstentions? Motion is carried.
We have not received any notice of enforcement actions this month. And that, sir, is my secretary's report.
Any questions for the secretary? If not, let's move to the treasurer's report.
Okay. On April the 2nd, we forwarded to the Department of Health a voucher in the amount of $11,614.33 for March 2019 in the third quarter of the program agency contract, together with the usual supporting documentation. At the same time, we also forwarded a voucher in the amount of $749.45 and supporting documentation for the council contract for the month of March. On April 19th, we received a direct deposit of $749.45, and on May 9th, we received a direct deposit of $11,614.33. The owed payments are therefore complete, and Tom Pasquarelli and myself were part of a DOH budget presentation on May the 3rd at 1 p.m. with Lynn Ferrugia and Michael Taylor with the WebEx presentation. And I found it very informative, and I would refer to their further comments on the meeting.
Anything?
I don't have any comments. It was very interesting. I think that you're going to have your work cut out for you.
The health department bowing to requests from higher up, who are bowing to requests from the federal government, are requiring different types of documentation now for budget lines on our contracts. We have 2 contracts, as you know, with the Health Department, Regional Council and Program Agency. The Regional Council contract is for $25,000 a year, and the Program Agency contract is $153,842 a year. And by the way, neither of those contracts have changed in amount, have not increased in the last, I believe it's now 15 years. This is right across the state. In any event, there is different documentation going to be required of us in the upcoming quarters of these contracts, and that's what the WebEx was about. We have another WebEx scheduled for the 10th of June, tentatively scheduled. I haven't heard back from Michael Taylor of the Department of Health. He's out of the office this week, but we've put in for June the 10th, and another WebEx is forthcoming on the Program Agency contract. So I presume it'll be kind of a rehash of what we've gone over already as far as budget lines are concerned. A printed report of the cash flow and balance sheet was distributed to all members. Mr. Pasquarelli, Mr. Chase, and Mr. Farquhar first received detailed cash flow, balance sheets, and register reports, plus copies of canceled checks, as per the review arrangements agreed on to meet audit standards. And they reported?
Everything was found to be complete and accurate.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion from the floor to approve the treasurer's report as given. Okay, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
I will abstain as a staff member.
Yep. Regional program,
Nothing to report, sir.
nothing to report. Training committee.
Training committee, I'm going to defer to Howard because Howard very kindly put together a survey for our instructors as to topics they'd like to see addressed in the instructor updates and other salient issues.
And I handed all of that stuff to Phil right before the meeting.
I have it before me, and have not had a chance to come through it.
Essentially, at our last meeting, we had decided as a committee to put together a brief survey to send out to the instructors in the region to get some feedback for the next certified instructor update. So I worked with Joyce and Phil, and Mary was helpful in a couple questions too that she had brought up at the time. We sent it out. We've got about 21 responses so far. That data has just been passed back to Joyce and Phil for Joyce to really make a decision as far as where to go from there. It asks things like how long have you been teaching, where are you teaching, what level are you teaching at, and then it gets into what you're most comfortable teaching, what you're not, and why. And they're going to use that data to drive their next topics for their certified instructor update.
Is the date still the first Saturday in June?
To my knowledge, yes.
Still?
As far as I know, this is going to go forward. I'm going to, we'll have a three-way discussion between Joyce, Howard, and myself, and the final, it'll firm up by the weekend.
Okay. Moving on to transportation and standards.
The Transportation and Standards Committee, let me just mention that on this is regards the transfer of operating authority involving the Wells Volunteer Ambulance Corps, which has been going on for quite some time now because of paperwork issues. On March 27, 2019, the revised application paperwork was received. After review, most of the committee members found